Hey everyone, it's Strange Michael. I hope you're doing well today. I have a review here for a game for Xbox One that I've wanted to get around to complete these games. I've only played the third in the series. I'll talk about that in a moment. It's a series created and crafted by a particular company called Supermassive Games, who made Until Dawn and The Quarry. I reviewed The Quarry on this channel, as well as the one game in this series I did review, or play, I mean. But the game I'm talking about right now is the first of this series, called the Dark Pictures Anthology. The game is called, Man of Medan. I think it's called Man of Medan. I think it's pronounced that. I think mainly because it sounds like a more professional title. It sounds like a Sherlock Holmes story. Anyway, this is the first game of the series. Number 2 I haven't played. It's called Little Hope. Apparently Will Poulter is in this. I didn't know that until I saw the trailer at the end of Man of Medan. The third game in this series is the one I did play, and I was kind of wish-washy about this. It was very half and half and kind of fucking messy, if I'm being honest with you. It's called House of Ashes. I got my copy from GameStop, obviously. But the game that I keep playing through these 4 that was on my list of games that I cannot wait to play by the end of 2023 and hopefully complete and review for you guys is The Devil in Me, the current final release from the series. I've heard so much about this. I'm a big fan of the Saw movies. This looks a lot like a Saw movie, so I hope it's good. But the Dark Pictures Anthology is a 4-game series that came out kind of back-to-back. Man of Medan, the first one ever, came out in 2019. And yeah, like I said, House of Ashes was kind of a mixed bag. I think I possibly like that one more than Man of Medan. I'm not really sure. Man of Medan kind of pissed me off. If I'm being honest with you, I played it all today. In total, if you make the right choices, it's maybe a 4-hour game. I think I beat it in 3.5 by some of the accidental choices I made, which fucked me over big time. Anyway, first and foremost, Man of Medan I wanted to go in loving. I knew nothing about this. I barely knew anything about Little Hope. I know little about Devil in Me as well. But this one I knew nothing about at all going into it. And I was curious, what is it going to be about? Especially after seeing House of Ashes all the way through. I was just interested on what direction we could go with this. What is it going to be like? What's it going to be about? What are the themes? Any of that. This one is more about a ghost ship type of thing, which sounded right up my alley. When they started introducing that, I was super stoked about it. It's kind of a creature feature again, but by the end of the game, I was so not into it and so pissed off with the choices, the twists, all of the shit that we chose to do with this game. I was not a fan at all. I was not a fan. Beating it 3.5 hours. Bought it for like 20 bucks brand new when I found it on Amazon like last year when I was collecting these up after I played House of Ashes. I was trying to get caught up on PS4 games and Xbox One games that were horror, survival horror, whatever. Anyway, Man of Medan pissed me off, as you can tell. Do I recommend it? Fuck no. No, I don't. Just like I don't recommend House of Ashes that much unless this sounds like the game for you. Now, the ghost ship idea, I was super stoked about. The idea of a haunting type of thing. I haven't seen these makers, Supermassive Games, do that before. The Quarry was a particular type of monster. House of Ashes was a kind of monster. Until Dawn is a very particular urban legend type of monster from folklore. And I love those ideas. I love that they take these things, these classical beasts and creatures that we know, that you've heard of, and they do something new with it. And I thought Man of Medan would do that, and it totally did not. At all. I wanted more out of it. It absolutely did not give me what I wanted. Now, basically, this story is focused after a prologue about a couple of guys getting locked away for drinking while being in the Navy in like the 30s, or the 20s, or 40s, something like that. We focus on a present-day story in 2019 with this first game about a group of friends who want to go diving around the area where a particular ship might have went missing, and they might be able to find a location of some gold. And they take up this one lady I'll just call Captain Bitch, who is the worst character, the worst writing of a character in this game, and probably the worst performance of a character in this game. They all go out there, and eventually they encounter some pirates, not like Arg matey pirates, but like, I'm the captain now. They literally quote that shit in here too, by the way. Those kinds of pirates. Like, guys that are like Nigerian prince pirates, if you want to call them that. And they get kidnapped, and eventually they encounter, by the map that they listed, that they were going to find some gold. These pirates find that when they kidnap these folks, and they get lured out to where the ship might be, which in turn is possibly our ghost ship, that may or may not be haunted. And it might not even be a haunting, it might be a creature on the actual ship. It could be a lot of different things, it can be a mixture of things. But let me tell you, no matter what direction you go, you will be disappointed. You will be absolutely disappointed. These games, to me, are kind of well known of not really having a ton of actors and actresses that you know. House of Ashes had Ashley Tisdale from High School Musical, which shocked the hell out of me. They did not mocap her correctly. She looks nothing like herself. It was kind of sad. In this game, you have Shawn Ashmore, who played Iceman in the X-Men movies when I was a kid. I love Shawn Ashmore. I saw him on The Following. I saw him on a lot of stuff. Really like that actor. He's good here. I think most of the performances are good, aside from Captain Bitch that I keep talking about. And the pirates are awful too. Not only the characters get on my nerves, but just them being there. The things they do, the performances they're giving, it's awful. And throwing in references to things like fucking Captain Phillips makes it even worse. This shit is embarrassingly bad. Like, Man of Medan, I wanted to love. I wanted to get into it. And frankly, by the time it got to the end of the game, before I realized it was the end of the game, it lost all steam for me. It started building some steam, and then it just threw that right out the window. Like, the twists and shit, dude, you would not believe how insulting they could be if you were getting into the game. If you weren't into the game, you're going to think it's laughably bad. I had a couple of moments because of graphical bugs and shit like that I actually laughed out loud. The game, by the way, compared to House of Ashes, compared to The Quarry, is filled with jump scares. All the time. You think modern day horror movies are bad, you have no idea. You think modern day Conjuring movies are bad? Dude, you have no idea. Man of Medan, from the get-go, is filled with jump scare after jump scare after jump scare, and it irritates the shit out of me after a while. To be fair, there's a couple of them that really got me really, really good. One involving a vent that completely made me want to shit bricks when I experienced that. The other one experiencing a fish trying to bite you through the screen. I fucking hate fish. I hate the ocean, which this is focused upon. That got me really well. Outside of that, everything else made me cringe. It made me just irritated. And you would think this being on a massive battleship type of style ship, whatever the fuck this thing was, you think there'd be a lot of atmosphere. You think with it being empty, having dead bodies all over the place, having these kids trying to escape pirates on the ship, and whatever creature or ghost or whatever might be on this thing, you would think the amount of tension and tension building would be wonderful. And you would think from this company who made The Quarry and Until Dawn, which is very reputable, The Quarry is the one I played and it's fantastic, you would think you would expect a lot more. I'm going to tell you, you shouldn't. You need to be very careful going into this because it's really not what you think it's going to be. If you saw the escape room movies that went to theaters, not the Skeet Ulrich movie, but the other ones, the escape room movies that actually went to theaters, do you remember how disappointed you were seeing the first one and how shitty the ending was? It's that kind of thing where the film had something going for it and the audience that were going to be into this, it shit the bed for. And it like slapped the audience that it would have in the face because it doesn't want you. It just, I know all that sounds really vague. I know it sounds like a lot for what I'm talking about with this kind of game, but as a horror fan, I felt like it completely crapped the bed. I feel like it never really got out of the bed, as a matter of fact, or got into the bed. However it craps the bed, it doesn't really matter. It still crapped the bed. It's bad. It's a bad game. The graphics are beautiful. I love the anthological feel of this series. I think it's cool how every single game has this guy called the curator that introduces the game, closes the game out, interrupts it sometimes, kind of like you're reading a Goosebumps Slappy World book or something. I like all that. I respect that. It's the actual game itself, mainly because of the characters. It's not so much the performances always being bad, aside from Captain Bitch. It's the writing of these characters that make them completely fucking stupid constantly. And I don't remember House of Ashes being that completely brainless. That wasn't the best game ever. The writing for the story on that game kind of was, again, wish-washy. 1 second it was clever, it was kind of nice, very character-focused. The next one, it shit the bed. Threw a twist at you that just shit the bed, over and over again. House of Ashes went back and forth. Man of Medan stayed pitiful all the time, almost always. As beautiful as it is, it's a shame, is what I'm saying. It's kind of pathetic, and it's a sad thing that they wasted Mr. Shawn Ashmore here. I'm really bummed out about that. I wanted a ghost ship game, and I thought that could be a really cool thing for this. When I found out that's what this was, again, I was really excited. By the end of it, I want to delete this from my brain. I want to delete it from my Xbox, but I really want to delete it from my brain because I just could not be more disappointed with this piece of shit and what I got at the end of the day. Overall, the music is okay. It's just okay. There's a lot of bugs in the game, like I said, too. I'm not a fan. If I'm being honest with you, this is worse than House of Ashes to me. The concept for this sounds better. The creature, ghost, monster, whatever it might be, or whatever they might be in this game, That shit looks really cool when you get to see it. But it's cheap. It's a bunch of jump scare bullshit. No atmosphere, nothing. Nothing. Everything that you could want out of this, it's not good. It's not good. And of course, it being like a Heavy Rain Until Dawn type of game, you make choices as the game goes along, so characters can die based on accidental choices you make that you didn't know you were making, or the game pressures you into making at the last second in panic mode. You can fuck up your endings because of this, but I don't really think the endings vary all that much from what I could tell. And again, beating the game in 3.5 hours pissed me off even more, because it felt like it was just a half-assed game in total. And House of Ashes didn't feel like that. House of Ashes just felt like it was kind of like the American Horror Story of video games. You know, it just made bad choices, like midway through, you know? Anyway, have you played the Dark Pictures Anthology? Have you played specifically Man of Medan? Do you love it? Do you hate it? I'd love to hear your thoughts and comments down in the comment section down below. If I had to rate the game on a 5-star basis, I would give it like a 2 out of 5 stars. There's barely anything I like, but it's fucking bad. And that ending just pissed me off so bad. I was sitting in the living room, my wife was reading a book, and I was just out loud saying, what the fuck? Are you fucking kidding me? Anyway, 2 out of 5, like I said. Put your thoughts and comments down below. Thank you all for watching, guys. God bless you all, and goodbye.